What's up? You think I forgot to give you guys the best, the absolute best movies of the year? Top 10. But first, we got to go through honorable mentions. Because there's a lot of them that didn't make it, and there's a lot of movies that I've seen repetitively throughout the years that didn't make it, and I thought was like right on the cusp, like Inside Out. Enjoyed Inside Out, didn't make it. The Walk, not on my list. It's on a lot of other people's lists. Didn't make it on mine, but very good movie. Brooklyn, great movie. Made it on a lot of people's lists, not mine. And Carol, was another movie that was very well done. Kate Blanchett did her job. It's just one of those movies that you watch once and go, that was really good. But it doesn't hold your attention enough for impact for movie of the year or top 10, I think. And going to this list, I think that we need to really, honor those movies and honorable mentions to Joy and The Hateful Eight, because those are not on my list. So people are going to be shocked. Like, then what is the list if those two didn't make it? Yep, those two did not make it. Tell you, 2015 wasn't as cracking, but the ones that made it made it. So here we go down the line. Number 10, we have Beasts of No Nation with Idris Elba. And this is about this kid's journey through his life over in South Africa, where his father is slaughtered by this army and war, and he's taken into this military by this sadistic Idris Elba, who's this war hero. Very powerful movie, very powerful acting by a young child I've seen in a very long time in a film. Very powerful. And number 9, we have Creed with Michael B. Jordan playing the son of Apollo Creed. I thought Creed had, not only was it a fun movie, it also had a good story, and I thought it was very well shot. As far as basically being more realistic, getting them out of Mickey's gym, going into a real actual boxing gym that exists to this day. And I think that went perfect with the storyline. And I think that brought out an extra good quality in the movie, Creed, that the other ones kind of failed to do. Then we move on to number, what we did, 8, we did 10, we did 9. Okay, number 8, Tom Hanks in Bridge of Spies. That role could only be played by Tom Hanks as a guy who he actually travels to. He works for the government. Not even for the government. He's like a tax insurance guy, and the government needs him to negotiate this deal with Russia, as they find they got captured the guy who used to be a Russian spy, and they kind of really never go into that. Like, is he still really active? We kind of believe he's getting notes because he kind of tells us in the beginning, but there was nothing really for him there. So we don't really see anything. And then American gets captured, and now they kind of want to do a swap for the American and then the Russian, and they need Tom Hanks to come and broker the deal. And it's a little bit more complicated than that when he gets into it, but it's deserving. Once you watch the movie, you're gonna be surprised on how good it really is, and it deserves its ranking at number 8. Now, number 7 on the list is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Not only am I one of the biggest Star Wars fans there is, it's also a great story. Even though it plays just like Creed, it kind of plays on the same storyline and formula as its original. It actually adds new elements to it that makes it its own film with the new cast, the direction that they're going. You're very interested to see what's happening next because it leaves you with a lot of questions, as what a movie that's continuing should do. It leaves you with the questions. You don't know what's this. You think you know, but you really don't know. So you have to watch the next 2 episodes. And that's what you want. If this is a singularity film that's going to stand on its own instead of a continuation in a trilogy, then of course it wouldn't have all these questions in it. But the way it was well written, and J.J. Abrams, the way they directed it, it was excellent. The way every character had meaning to the plot, and it's not only a fun movie, it's also a good story. It's another tragedy, family, emotional drawback. You cry, you laugh, it's a great story. So, yes, it's definitely on the list. Number 7. Number 7 down. So, number 6, we have The Room. The Room with Brie Larson was probably going to get her Oscar nomination and probably win it for her role. But I thought that son who played the kid in there, and the stories about a girl who was kidnapped when she was a kid, going to a house, and a guy had kept her in a shed out in the backyard of his house for like about 10. She'd been missing for like maybe 10 to 15 years. And in that time, he kept her in there, slept with her, fed her, and she never seen the outside. And then she had a kid out of in that place, and they stayed in that room. And the kid is 7 years old. He's never been outside in his life. And things happen. It's a powerful movie. And definitely top 10. And everything that happened outside of that I can't really tell you the rest of the story without telling you what made it exciting. But they get out of the room eventually. And then the movie doesn't end there. You get to see what happens in the progression of somebody who hasn't been into society in 15 years and someone who has never been in society, period. The adjustment period in that. And that's why Room is number 6. Probably could have been higher. Next, we have The Martian. The Martian is number 5 on the list. And the reason why it's number 5 is because The Martian had comedy, it had wit, and it had... Actually, Matt Damon was able to pull it off as being Matt Damon in space. Witty, comedic, hitting his timelines, but at times he had to show the vulnerability to actually hit those marks where you're drawn into him, you're drawn into his situation as a man on Mars who's stranded, and how he's got to be rescued. He's got to try to ration food that's there on supplies, and it's a 3-year mission to get to Mars. The effect it's having back in the United States and back on Mars, the the brains and cells that he's using to survive, to basically keep himself alive for as long as he can, and never giving up on himself, and keep fighting, and always thinking of ways to try to get out of situations by using his intelligence and his knowledge. And it's very entertaining. You'll be engaged over and over again. Can't get bored with it. Next is Mad Max Fury Road, where once again we see George Miller does what he always do, give you the raw. And this movie was raw, uncut, fast to the bone, nothing but brutalness, and you really got to see what he couldn't add because of technology, things back in the past that he wanted to add, but he couldn't add at the time. But he eventually added it in the end, so that's what we got. So, Fury Road, to me, is definitely tops because Ferosa, who the story is really about, not just her. Man, that's how Mad Max really was supposed to be. It was supposed to be designed that way. So that's how it turned out. The reason why it turned around is because he was just supposed to be the supporting piece in her story. But even though it's Mad Max, he's the character that bounces into different stories, and that's how the character was supposed to be. But the scale, the scope, the direction, everything was perfect. Loved it. Even buy the DVD. You get to see a whole lot of special stuff on there. They give you a lot of bonuses. You'll love that one. Now, where was I? Now we go to, that was number 4. So we on number 3. Number 3 is Ex Machina. Okay. Could have easily been number 1. This movie is so engaging with dialogue, and you're really caught up into artificial intelligence. This is the best film I've probably seen on artificial intelligence. If you ever liked Oscar Isaac as an actor, when you see him in this film, you'll understand why he gets so many roles. Because the guy is gold. And he gives you his best performance of the year in this film here, which I think probably got overlooked. But he is the main ingredients. And the writing for this is incredible. Because it makes you challenge your own knowledge of what you think of artificial intelligence. And then you start to think, is this thing really real or is it artificial? I can't really tell. It is a great story, great, great movie. I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, but definitely go see it. As we go to number 2. Number 2 is The Revenant. Leonardo DiCaprio's movie, The Revenant. And this film, it is so, the shots are so, it's no digital anything. This is raw footage shots. And I still want to know how they shot the footage with the bear. Because this bear is mauling him. I mean, literally mauling him. And he's speaking in some type of dialect. I don't even know half the movie. He doesn't talk that much, DiCaprio. But it's his performance, his acting. And then you get Tom Hardy's performance. Golden. Golden. But it's usual Tom Hardy. When he gets to a certain point, he just mumbles through everything. Then he starts sounding like Bane again, you know. But great performance all the way around. But it did have its dead points. But you're caught into this. I was caught into the scale and the scope. I had times to engage everything and take it all in. I'm like, oh, okay, that's that, that's this, that's that. So that worked out perfectly for me. I don't know how everybody else will do it, but that works out perfect for me. Then, number 1 of the entire year, as I do want to give a shout out to Mississippi Grind, too. It's not number 1, but that's another movie that's going to be on another list that I have that are called the fun movies, the top 10 fun movies. But it is a great movie as well and could have been in its top 10. Now, but number 1 movie of the year is Spotlight. Hands down. I walked out of the theater and said, it's number 1. It's done. Spotlight is the number 1 movie of the year for 2015. Why? Because Spotlight was investigative journalism 101, and it goes into what happened, uncovering the scale of the scandal behind the Catholic Church. And definitely the case of what happened in Boston. And once they start peeling the layers and other layers start coming out and you start seeing how deep the rabbit hole goes, it was amazingly done, well acted, great actors in a perfect position. Lee Schreiber, his little bit parts was key into the driving force of the film. Got to tip my hat off to everybody, and I'll be back to do the top 10 fun movies, the most enjoyables of 2015, the one that you would go back and spend your money on over and over again. Signing off.